It is State of the Collection season. I am going to share with you every single watch I own. Alright, so next up we have my vintage Russian watches and some super ultra affordable pieces that I've found on eBay, like the Doctor's watch. This watch has great aesthetics, the proportions are good and everything, but there's something subtle about it that looks as cheap as it costs, and I really don't know what it is. So I haven't worn it very much, but it actually does look pretty cool. As you can see, just looks nice and classy, super cheap too. And we have my super affordable Seiko quartzes. Look at how small they are. Great size for a tank style watch, nice and thin. The strap is kind of chintzy, but I mean, these were like $20. So I bought all the colorways. Here's the white one. They look great though. And my favorite of these is the black dial variant. I mean, just look at that. These are great tank style dress watches. On to the Russian watches. We have my Polerouter, which is the most recent purchase. I really like that dial and the crystal. The crown is completely stripped of its chrome finish there, but oh well. Oh, it kind of woke up a little. It looks great on the wrist. The second Polerouter that I purchased. I love these Polerouters, they're so gorgeous. Look at that font, so much fun. And this silver, as you can see, kind of shines dark, which is really cool. There's some dials kind of like this where instead of getting darker there, it's like light and then even lighter. But this one is like a cool slate color in really bright light. These are gorgeous. And they get a decent amount of wrist time too. And this was my first introduction to vintage watches. And I still love it. That case shape, the thinness, just gorgeous. When I'm wearing these, I can't stop staring at them. They just look awesome. Alright, so I have a few more quartz watches to go over before we get into my core collection. And first up are all my swatches. I have one pop swatch that I got from my cousin. I would like to polish this crystal and get a battery for it. At some point I would like to get a cool, like black dial pop swatch. I haven't worn one of these since like high school. Here's what a pop swatch looks like when you're wearing it. And you can take this off, pop the watch out, put this on the inside of a shirt or something, and wear it on your clothes. Crazy. This swatch I got from my wife as a gift. It's a new gents, so it's a bit large for me now, but looks great. I have a couple other new gents swatches. As you can tell, I love the translucent cases and skeletonized dials. They're just fun. And there's this guy. I like that last one so much that I got the gents size variant of it. And this is my favorite strap from way back in middle school. I had a couple swatches with these and I absolutely love them. I mean, look at how cool that strap looks. Fun. This swatch I inherited, and what's kind of cool is this pattern changes every day. very 1980s. I also inherited this one. This one looks really cool. And I just bought this fancy strap for it. It's like really soft. Yeah, that's cool. This is one of the first swatches that I purchased recently. So after I migrated away from the new gent size back to the original, I purchased this on what was then called Squiggly. Now I think it's like Masters in Time or something. It's a little bit translucent and a whole lot of fun. There's this one. It reminds me of Tron with that white ring in there. I love the ribbed strap. Very cool. This one my wife bought me. It's actually a new Swatch, but it looks just like all the old school ones. I love that font. And the crystal's actually a little bit taller than the originals. Perfect. Yeah, that looks cool. And look, it's not black. It has a dark blue case and strap. And my absolute favorite swatch, but sadly, this one refuses to work. It's like there's some loose connection in there and it just kind of randomly stops. So at some point I may have to track down another one of these. Just awesome. Can't mess with the turquoise bay. And I actually like it on the black ribbed strap because it really makes that turquoise pop, and you should see this crystal out in the daylight. I may have to Warhol this thing and just wear it without a battery. Alright, we're approaching the home stretch. 3 more quartz pieces to go. The first one is my larger Movado museum. I love the mirrored dial in there. This is a really cool piece. I just wish it were at 36 millimeters like my other one. But yeah, sapphire crystal. Sometimes I put this on even though it looks kind of big. And I actually like that strap. It's not super glossy. It's cool. There is something about the Movado Museum I don't understand why I like them so much. But I do. Which brings me to the smaller variant. This is 36 millimeters. And I love it, but I do want to replace this crystal because it looks like someone walked up against a cement wall on accident. And it's actually kind of distracting. It just makes it look dirty. So once I get that replaced, I'll probably be wearing this even more than I do already. Because yeah, that looks great. And this is the original strap. And look at the condition it's in. And lastly, we have the Rico. I just recently did a review of this. This watch is just gorgeous looking. It was not cheap, but I'm glad that I bought it. And that is why. Yeah. That is super cool. We have arrived at the core collection. However, these first 2 pieces kind of barely make it into there. First up is the D1 Milano. It's just so thin and so large, I rarely wear it. But it is a pretty cool watch, so it somehow has a home in the watch box. The khaki field also barely makes it into the core collection. Just because I have the CWC and its proportions are just so great. So I rarely wear this. I do like how thin it looks, with that bezel kind of coming down. But yeah. And the Dolce Vita. Some Tank Americaine aesthetics going on there. This watch is gorgeous. I mean, look at that dial. And the blued hands. Amazing. Except for that date window. And look at it on the wrist. But this has some competition, so we'll see what happens with this watch in the coming months. The Timex Marlin reissue. I love these little watches. And those crystals are absolutely insane. It's so cool because you buy these new and it's just like buying a vintage watch. I love the flying saucer shaped case and the vintage proportions to them. And look at that font and dial. I love the Marlin reissue so much. I got the black dial variant. So cool. The Marlins are so great. I love them. And they're pretty affordable, all in all. Next up, we have a couple Bauhaus heavy hitters, beginning with the Stova. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the font on that dial. And look at the blued hands and how long they are. So crazy. Oh yeah. And this Veblenist strap that I bought for it, absolutely amazing. It's so flexible, it's actually difficult to feed it through the keepers here. But just look at that watch. Oh, and it looks great on the brown. Look at the taper on that strap. This watch is pretty amazing. Next up is a big time Bauhaus heavy hitter, Nomos. Oh, this watch is just sheer perfection. 100% dress watch. Just look at that. Absolutely amazing. I have it on a Nomos strap, but this is a shorter one than what it shipped on, and it fits me much better. Just look at that dial. Just wow. Next up we have the CWC, which is the perfect tool watch. I love the classic sized case, and it looks really great on a gray NATO. It's like a battleship. And it has decent water resistance too. So you can actually go snorkeling with this thing. I was surprised how much I loved this watch when I got it. I was a little bit nervous as far as what I would think of it, but as soon as I opened it up and took a look at it, I was in love. And we have the Space View. I am so glad that I finally pulled the trigger on one of these. The vintage Space Views are absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure why Bulovas are so thick though. That is so weird. Kind of like the chronograph that I have. But the crystal is just phenomenal, and that is just amazing. And hearing the hum is crazy. I have it on a super tapered rubber strap that's pretty thin. Kind of adds to the sci-fi look of it. And my most recent purchase is the Serica. And this is the only dive watch in my collection. And it's brilliant. Yep, that is just amazing. It looks every bit as cool as I thought it would when I first saw the pictures come through. I absolutely love the end links on this. Really gives it a unique aesthetic. And that Jetsons looking dial. And we have the Everest. I am so glad that I have an Explorer style watch in my collection. Such an amazing aesthetic. The proportions are correct. It's basically an homage to an earlier Explorer. Just awesome. Such a cool style. And I don't even mind the handset anymore. Next up is another Smith's, the PRS 29A. And this is such a beautiful field watch. I feel like it's a little bit more dressy than pieces like the CWC, so it's right at home with a little bit more dressy occasions. I mean, it's definitely not a dress watch, but it's so classy and just beautiful. And I really like it on a thin purlon, so it sits nice and flat. I had it on the olive green, but decided to put it on black for a little while. And we have the Max Bill. This and one other piece that I own are my absolute favorite watches. I love this crystal. I love the font. The dial is just amazing. And the fact that these are loomed kind of makes them look a little eerie and awesome. And you can kind of see the inkiness in that crystal a little bit. Absolutely love this watch. And that is why. Just absolutely gorgeous and a truly authentic Bauhaus design. Alright, so the best watch in my collection is actually missing because it's a Christmas present, so it's wrapped up and sitting in my closet. That is the Polerouter. Be sure to check out its review. The link to it is in the description below. That is the #1 watch in my collection. So there you have it, the complete state of my collection. Thanks for watching.